Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I told you I would be back. It is your boy Lewis, and I am back once again with another banger with yet another video. Excuse me. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to keep receiving the latest I truly provide. Appreciate you guys for taking the time to watch my video late at night, and make sure at the end of this video, make sure to like and share this video. It'll only help the channel grow. Ladies and gentlemen, I am back with part 3, and we are starting off. Let us get right into it. On your mark, get set, go. Kobe Bryant was the reason that Shaq left the Lakers. Another falsified myths. Kobe Bryant part 3. Kobe critics have pointed out consistently through the years that he was the reason that Shaq left the Los Angeles Lakers. They claim that Kobe forced Shaq out, which is always the narrative and the notion, telling owner Jerry Buss that he would have to choose which one of the two superstars he wanted to keep. I would ask you this question, ladies and gentlemen. Kobe Bryant at 25 years old, 26 years old in the prime of his career, or Shaquille O'Neal? 32 years old, aging superstar, constantly getting injured, not conditioning his body the right way, coming into camp the right shape. Who are you going to choose? And Shaq was asking for $30 million a season. Over the years, much has come to light on this issue. In short, Buss made a sound business decision. Sure, Shaq would go on to help the Miami Heat with his first championship in 2006, but where would the Lakers be today if they were centered around Shaq instead of Kobe? Now, if you want to go about the whole 2006 thing, he had a young Dwayne Wade, so let's keep that in mind. Another shooting guard, great shooting guard. Third greatest shooting guard in NBA history, in my opinion. After Shaq left the Lakers, he only averaged more than 20 points per game in a season once, while getting paid in the range of 20 to 27 million every season up until this year. Meanwhile, Kobe had averaged over 20 in every season since Shaq left, won an MVP and 2 Finals MVP awards, while making nearly half the salary cap that Shaq made his first year in Miami. Now keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this article was written in 2011. A lot has changed since then. Kobe Bryant really didn't even crack. We know what happened with his injuries after 2013. From a business standpoint, saving the team money and getting the most productive player, it's obvious that Buss made the right decision. He signed Kobe for 7 years at $136 million. At the time, he signed him in 2004. From a business standpoint, saving the team money, making the most productive player, it's obvious that he made the right decision. To further damage Shaq's case, reports over the years have stated that he was a cancer in the Lakers locker room, but they don't really talk about this. I mean, he even had issues with Pat Riley, and Pat Riley ended up trading him to the Phoenix Suns in 2007-2008, which people don't really talk about much. This has been evident as Shaq has been an issue with every team he has played with since he left LA. When O'Neal admitted to coming into the preseason camp each year out of shape and healing injuries on company time since he was injured while on the job, his true character became crystal clear. When it comes to motivation, leadership, hard work, and determination, there's simply no comparison between Shaq and Kobe, which is why people keep saying, why do you think Kobe was starting to even get tired of Shaq? It wasn't just the fact that Kobe wanted to prove that he could win a title without Shaq because of the narrative, but it was because Shaq was not really that really a motivational leader, because of the fact that he would come in and his leadership tone, he wouldn't really come in motivated, like I said, due to coming in out of shape into camp. Determination, which is true. It's really true. Although he kept quiet about these issues through the years, Dr. Buss obviously factored in all of these intangibles to aid his decision-making. In short, anyone who blames Kobe for Shaq's departure is not telling the whole story. And that's the problem. They're just going to say, oh, Kobe ran Shaq out. But wouldn't you get tired of Shaq with just, again, with his attitude sometimes? I'm going to skip that part because I talked about that. Bam. This is another falsified myth. Kobe's not a great defender. One of my favorite arguments used against Kobe is the claim that 9 all defensive team selections. I mean, first team, 12 overall, 3 second team, 9 first team. One of my favorite arguments used against Kobe Bryant is the claim that he is not a great defender. People will often compare his averages in steals and blocks to those of Michael Jordan and other players to downplay his impact on the defensive end of the court. Now, Michael does have more steals and more blocks combined than Kobe, that's correct. But you can't sit here and tell me that Kobe has not had an indelible defensive impact on the defensive end of the court. That's false. First, steals and blocks can be very important in helping a team win, but they are gambling moves, which is correct. If a player goes for a steal and misses, often the opponent is wide open for a high percentage shot. Similarly, if a player jumps up to block a shot, there is a significant chance that he will foul the other player. Steals and blocks are good indicators of help defense, but not the best measurements for one-on-one defense. This is why players like Bruce Bowen, Shane Battier, and Dennis Rodman were all considered elite defenders despite having low averages in steals and blocks. I wonder why nobody ever really talks about that neither. And Dennis Rodman was one of the best defenders as they come. I mean, he's a former Defensive Player of the Year, for God's sakes. I think he won it 2 times. I know he won it in 1990 and I believe in 92. Kobe Bryant has learned to do more with sound defensive principles using impeccable footwork. I mean, he has a ton of videos on his defense. I don't know why people are trying to hamper on Kobe's defense and slowing down opponents. As games get closer to the end, Kobe's effort on defense goes up to the highest notch. Yo, just look at that game against Tracy McGrady in the 2004 season, bro. And that tell you how good of a defender Kobe was in his prime. There is not one player I'd rather put over Kobe on a perimeter score at the end of a game to stop a game-tying or winning shot. Besides, people don't really talk about how many perimeter scores Kobe played in his day. Apparently, the NBA coaches and GMs have taken notice. Each year, the GMs have rated Kobe as one of the top perimeter defenders in their annual NBA survey. But you know, LeBron fans will say Kobe's such an overrated defender. Coaches vote to the all-defensive teams, and one would think they know who can guard their own players the best in the NBA. Until the Lakers got Ron Artest, Kobe was asked to carry the scoring load and guard the best perimeter defender each game. Not even Michael Jordan was asked to do so much, as Scottie Pippen was usually assigned to guard the top perimeter player to help conserve Jordan's energy. Gee, but I wonder why the media doesn't talk about that. Regarding the all-defensive awards, Kobe has made first team, 8 times it says here, and second team twice, but no, he's made 12 defensive selections, because remember, this is 2011, and he's made 9 first team. Only Gary Payton and Michael Jordan have more first team selections, 9 each, but Kobe has more overall selections than both of them. Only Tim Duncan and Kareem have more overall selections than Kobe. Remember, this was written in 2011, so Kobe has actually more defensive selections than Gary Payton and Michael Jordan. With 12, Tim Duncan has the most overall at 13, and Kobe did pass Kareem. Evidently, Kobe is in the most prestigious company in NBA history when it comes to defensive accomplishments. Damn, man, it's so crazy how Kobe's been so disrespected. And when you look deep into the context, this dude is actually, this shows you he's really one of the greatest in NBA history when you really look deep into the numbers. Phil Jackson only wins because he has the most talent. Listen, he had Shaq, Kobe, Scottie Pippen, and Michael Jordan, but he did not have the most talent on his teams. It's another falsified myth. I've heard many folks, especially Boston Celtics fans, probably trying to promote Red Auerbach as the greatest NBA's coach and make the argument that Phil has won all of his championships because his team had the most talent, which Red Auerbach always says. While it is true that all of his teams have had a lot of talent, the argument doesn't tell the whole story. All NBA championship teams have had talented rosters. The Bulls and the Lakers have nearly the same rosters before Jackson took over as coach of each team compared to after. Yet the previous coaches could not get the Bulls and the Lakers to win a title. Del Harris, Doug Collins, but you have to realize they were different teams. Some of those guys were not developed, and Kobe Bryant wasn't developed under Del Harris like he would become under Phil Jackson. So that also doesn't tell the whole story. And the team's makeup were different, but the Lakers, I will say, were very talented. They just couldn't get over the hump with Del Harris. Furthermore, Jackson's team, Eddie Jones, Nick Van Exel, Robert Horry, Shaq, Corey Blanche, Sean Rooks, Travis Knight, Derek Fisher. That Lakers team was loaded in 98, in 97 and 98. In 2000 and 2001, the Portland Trail Blazers regarded as the most talented team. That's correct. I remember they were using the term too deep in terms of Shaq and Kobe compared to too deep because the Blazers had a more depth than the Lakers did. But nobody talks about that. As the sporting players such as Pippen, Rasheed, Arvydas Sabonis. Rasheed, man, this guy's a former 4-time All-Star. Def Left Shrimp, Steve Smith, Bronzy Wells, Damon Stoudemire, Bryant, Grant. That 2000 Portland Trailblazer team was a great team. It's unfortunate they didn't beat the Lakers because they should have beat them. In 2002, the Sacramento Kings had the most talented roster. That's correct. They were more talented. Shaq has even gone on record saying that he was jealous of that team. Bro, they had a load of three-point shooters. Doug Christie, second team all defender. Chris Webber, one of the most underrated players in NBA history. Mike Bibby, who I don't understand how he didn't make any all-star teams in his career, because in his prime, that dude was as good as anybody. Hedo Turkoglu was very good. Bobby Jackson. The last few seasons, one could make a similar argument in favor of the Dallas Mavericks and the Orlando Magic. That's Dwight Howard and, the Mavericks with, the Nowitzki and those crew. The point is that Jackson has been among the best at making the talent he has in the winners. There's no denying the greatness of Shaq and Kobe, Michael and Scottie. Other great coaches like Red Auerbach and Pat Riley had dynasty teams with multiple Hall of Famers. But anyone who makes claim that either those coaches or Jackson are overrated is being a bit obtuse. I don't think any of those coaches are overrated, but I think the fact that they be talking smack about how Phil always had the players, I think it's ridiculous. He made the most out of his talent with one superstar. Well, he had two superstars and then one superstar and one star in Chicago. Derek Fisher, very important player. I'm not going to get into the details of that because you know how clutch he is. It's ridiculous that they say he's the worst starting point guard. Kobe never played with a great point guard, but Derek Fisher was a big shot maker. He knew how to initiate the triangle offense. He was a solid passer, was good with the secondary assist and moving the ball, and he was very good at the defensive end, guarding the top point guards and drawing charges. We know about point 4 in Game 5, San Antonio. I'm not even going to go through Jerry Buss, great owner. I'm not even going to go through the ball hall because I talked about that. I want to touch on this one right here. Kobe Bryant doesn't make other players better. The statement that Kobe doesn't make other teams is one of my favorite myths. Like Michael Jordan before him and players like LeBron James today, Kobe's dominant offensive play constantly draws double teams, which leaves teammates wide open, especially on the perimeter. If Kobe ain't great, why does he get doubled and tripled? I mentioned that last video. Unlike Jordan, who had players like BJ and Steve Kerr and James, who has played with Damon Jones, Daniel Gibson, Sasha Pavlovich, Mo Williams, Anthony Parker, James Jones. Didn't James Jones giftfully wrapped Tyson Chandler to the Lakers? Just saying. Kobe Bryant hasn't consistently had perimeter outside shooters on his team, and this is very true. All of these players with Jordan and James almost always shot above 40% from beyond the arc. Yet the media never wants to talk about that. Derek Fisher is the only player who might fall into this group, although he has only hit 40% in about half of his seasons. Perhaps if Kobe was surrounded by more premier shooters, his assist averages would be slightly higher, and the driving lanes for the basket would have been more open, and it would have made it easier for Kobe Bryant to score. It's true. Besides creating wide open shots, Kobe's influence on his teammates was in part shown in Spike Lee's film Kobe Doing Work. I'm actually gonna do a video on that. Kobe Doing Work. I actually saw the video with Spike Lee. I'm gonna catch it. If you guys haven't catched it, take a look at it. But I'm actually gonna break down the video. So I definitely want to take a look at that. Many of his teammates, and this is from Kobe's second half of his career. This is during the 2008 season. This is a particular game against the San Antonio Spurs, where Kobe talks and he goes in depth on that game. And the Lakers are pretty much, they get Powell and they're trying to fight for that #1 spot. For instance, many of his teammates have drawn from Kobe's motivation, desire, and strong work ethic to develop into better players themselves. For instance, Andrew Bynum has spoken about how his recent commitment to hard work and defense has been molded in part after Kobe's regimen. Other players who have credited Kobe for improving their games include D. Fish, Shannon Brown, Sasha Vujacic, and Trevor Ariza. Hey, didn't I mention that? But yet the LeBron stands and the 3-6 Mafia never want to talk about that. Bryant also had a major impact in the 2008 Olympics. Ding! Where the coaching staff credited him with inspiring his teammates and working with them to improve their defense. LeBron James also credited Kobe Bryant for his improved focus on the defensive end on the court. Excuse me? Say what? Where are all these myths about Kobe not being a great player and being trash? But LeBron James, who wasn't even in his prime yet, like in his absolute prime, he was entering his prime, credits Kobe for his improved focus on the defensive end of the court. Shaking my head with these narratives, man. If this were not enough, let's consider the case of Pau Gasol, who also has credited Kobe for much of the improvement in his game. Ladies and gentlemen, do you see the facts being displayed as I do my research? But these Kobe haters still want to talk about this nonsense without bringing nothing into context? Before coming, I apologize for that, guys. Before coming to the Lakers, Gasol had never been selected to an All-NBA team and only had one All-Star selection. Haven't I mentioned this? It's like, I believe I mentioned it. Correct me if I'm wrong if I haven't mentioned that before, guys. Let me know in the comments. After the trade, he has been an All-Star every year and has been selected twice to the All-NBA third team, although many felt Gasol should have made the second team in 2010. The difference in his game, including his aggression and defensive abilities, can clearly be seen in simple stats. Prior to his trade to LA, Gasol never averaged double figures in rebounds. However, he has managed to accomplish that the last 2 seasons despite playing with 2 other premier rebounders in Andrew Bynum and Lamar Odom. Remember, this was back in 2011. This was written, guys. In general, Gasol has shot much more efficiently while playing in LA, in part due to the easier shots he gets with Kobe on the floor, because Kobe draws so much attention. And once again, I'm going to say it. Shaq was the more dominant player with Pau. Pau was the more skilled player. Productive and skilled, but not dominant. Perhaps the most important area Kobe has helped Gasol is with having the mental fortitude to successfully come through in the playoffs. As I mentioned last video, with the way that Garnett and Perkins pushed him around in 2008. Like Kobe, Gasol had a poor shooting night in Game 7 of last year's finals. However, he found a way to make some key baskets down the stretch. I remember watching that Game 7, man. It was such a juggernaut, man. The fans were into that game. While leading all players in rebounds, like Kobe, he found a way to have a major impact on the game with his shooting while his shot was not falling. The evidence is overwhelming. There's no denying that Kobe, like many of the NBA greats before him, have been successful at making players around him better. But I thought Kobe was a bad leader. I thought Kobe wasn't a great teammate. Lies, lies, and all lies. So, I already touched up on the fact that Kobe Bryant is clutch. So, once again, ladies and gentlemen, this was part 3 of the Kobe Bryant myths in depth. Part 3. I said I was going to come through for you guys, and I had to do that, man. So I already said it. But I wanted to read this little part right here, though. Right here. This is why in the 2008 Olympics, on a team that had lots of talented players such as LeBron, Dwayne, Chris, Dwight, and Darren Williams, it was Kobe that came through in the close the fourth quarter that led Team USA to the victory against Spain in the gold medal game. Unless one thing stay known, because if you realize, and I said it again, and you can even add Carmelo Anthony to that mix, I'm surprised, but all of those players had their best seasons the very next year in 08-09 after playing in the Olympics with Kobe Bryant. You bring the veteran leadership of Jason Kidd and the defensive tone that Kobe set in practice, he changed the culture of USA basketball, ladies and gentlemen. And this is a guy who started his first 2 seasons off the bench and didn't get a full-time starting job until his 3rd season. Had to play second fiddle to Shaquille O'Neal. And without Shaq, was able to win 2 more finals, went to 3 straight, and win 2 more finals MVPs. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will remind you again, Kobe Bryant has had an indelible, unbelievable, astonishing impact on the game of basketball, and shows you how polarizing that the man has been in his NBA career. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I thank you for enjoying this 3-part series. I hope you guys enjoyed me breaking down Kobe Bryant's career, going in depth into his career on the myths that have been spewing around Kobe his whole career like a dark cloud over his head with a thunderstorm. With these stupid ass myths that the 3-6 Mafia loves to play on Kobe like if he isn't a great player. And you can honestly say that his career with all these myths, you could really now make a case, considering that he started his first 2 years off the bench and his last 3 years were hampered by injuries after the Achilles tendon, that Kobe Bryant could be in the top 10. You wouldn't think so at first. And people are going to say Kobe's really more overrated. But I think if you really go in depth into the numbers, you now realize why Kobe is really the only superstar player to start off the bench that can be made a case as to why he is definitely one of the greatest of all time. To have started his career as a bench player and to end up scoring over 33,000 points, 7,000 rebounds. He's the number one guard all time in rebounds as well with 7,047. And number one in assists, 6,306, is the first and only player to have 30,000 points, 7,000 rebounds, and 6,000 assists at the guard spot. You could definitely make a case that Kobe could be top 10, even if it did take him a little bit of more seasons. But his numbers would be so different if it wasn't for his injuries and starting his career off the bench. But once again, this is your boy Lewis. Do you think that with the facts that I displayed in all three parts, could that now make a case for Kobe to being in the top 10? Or do you still think that people are still going to say that he's overrated and is still out of the top 10 discussion? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. This is your boy Lewis back with another one. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Bless up, one love, peace. Thanks for watching.